So this video we're just going to go over the Subtractive synth engine on here. So the first thing you need to know is there are printed shortcuts all over this. So people worry about menu diving. Actually don't have to worry about it if they don't mind just going into shortcuts that are right here on the board. To do that, let's say I want to go change the volume on oscillator 1, for example. Hold down shift and you press volume. It's right there printed. You can't see it on the video, most likely. So it just shows that it's blinking. Okay? Over here there's the modulation section. Let's say I want the volume to be attached to envelope 1, for example. Let's say I want this to be routed through envelope 1. So I press shift, press envelope 1, and now it's showing this blink, and it's blinking here fast, and then you can go in the positive or the negative of how it would affect this volume. You can do that with anything. Once you press it again, it goes away. Now another thing I do want to mention is if I press here, okay, to hear it, and then I press a different key, it's almost the same as holding down shift and pressing it. The only thing though is if I just press something off now, that'll just exit that mode. So that's how this shortcut mode works. Now we'll just get into synth. So shift synth, it creates a new synth. Okay, so here is oscillator 1, there's oscillator 2. So I'm going to look at oscillator 2, the volume's 0, and on oscillator 1 it's at 50. So if you want to transpose the note, you can just turn this, and there's your coarse tuning, so there's an octave, and then down to 0 again. If you want to change the fine adjustments, you just move over with this, and then go up or down. This is type, here's a square wave that we're on, saw wave, sine wave, and triangle. There's also sample. Now I'm just going to get into that real quick just so you can see it. I want to do a sample, so I just press shift browse right here. So that's just some presets loading in here. I'm going to go up here. We're going to go into this one right here. It's wave. It's waveform. So these are just collections of waveform snippets that you can use, and there's just a lot of different directories, so I'm just going to choose one randomly, and as you scroll through you can hear all the different sounds. So let's say I'm just going to choose one, okay? So I just press it. Okay, so now it's loaded, but it's still just like a little blip sound right there, mode. So sample mode, if I press shift mode, it's on once, it means it's going to trigger it once. But I want to loop it, so I press loop. Okay, now we have an oscillator. If I want to change it, I can do the same thing. Shift, browse, choose a totally different waveform. So there's that option too, which is pretty cool. So square, and then change the pulse width, so you can hear. So there is that as well. Okay. So let's go back to saw wave. Now, we do have right here attack, decay, sustain, release, which is envelope 1. So automatically it's already connected. Envelope 1, okay, is like the amp. So let's change some values. Change attack, well, attack's 0, so that's fine. Decay's at 20, so you're not going to really hear anything different unless we turn down sustain. I still don't hear too much, so I'm going to turn this down. Now you can definitely hear. I'm going to turn the release up a little so it kind of... Just going to turn it way up here. Turn the decay up a little. Okay, so there's a nice little sound, okay? If we want, we can change, for example, okay, here's cutoff, okay, and resonance. I can also change it in here. So shift, cutoff, resonance. It's going to show the values. I mean, if I change it, it's going to show it. But if I change it here, I can also do it that way. Okay? So cutoff, resonance. Let's say we want to change resonance with an envelope. Okay? So over here again, there's the envelopes and the LFOs. There's two envelopes, two LFOs. So with that selected, hold down Shift. Let's do envelope 2, which will make envelope 2. We're going to modify the cutoff. So let's make it. I'll just choose a value. You can already hear it happening. So let's go in here. I'm going to hold down the note actually. I'm going to make the attack down. I'm going to bring the decay up. We can also modify the cutoff resonance while we're changing all this. Just to see, just we can hear kind of what's changing. So 25, let's change that down. Now we can really start hearing it. We'll turn that down. We'll go bring the decay up a little. Okay, so this is just a really basic look at this. Let's say we want to, let's say change the pitch. So you just go to transpose, okay, shift transpose. And then again, we're going to, let's just change that with LFO1. So now we see that blinking, LFO1 blink. And here's the controls for LFO1. So we can, now that this is selected, we want to affect it positive. We can go in negative too if we want. So this is just the amount that we're going to feed that through to the LFO1. So as you can hear, there's a change right there. Now let's change the shape of the LFO. We just shift LFO1 shape. Okay, and then what's cool is you have here, this is the sync section, so you can change it to a specific timing based off of that, or if you turn it off, you go down here and you just choose a rate, which is not based on the tempo, it's just based on its internal clock. So let's turn it down just a little. So I'm going to go back here, transpose, okay. Press this again. Let's bring that down a little. So we can still have that sound without it being too off the original note I'm playing. Okay, so let's add, for example, oscillator 2. Let's bring the volume up on there. Now I hear that coming in. And again, we can just do the same thing. We can change the type. Let's make this an octave higher. Or we can go an octave lower. Okay, so now that we have a little sound we made, I'm going to go into the Arpeggiator. Okay, so the Arpeggiator is right here. We can go to mode here. Right now it's on set to off. If we turn it, we can go up, down, or both, up, down, and up. We'll just do up for now. Okay, the next settings, set octaves. Right now it's set to 2, so it's just the amount of octaves that's going to go up. And then Let's just keep that at 2. So this is gate. When I press gate, what that does is changes the length of the notes. So you can make it really short or longer, depending. Okay. The next one down here is actually the sync tempo. So you can sync it to the tempo, literally. Okay. We go down here to rate, and there we go. Oh, that was set to really fast, so that's what that sound was. So another feature here, if I press shift here, it's Portamento, which, so I just made this little synth sound, and I want to make it glide from note to note instead of an immediate note change. So, just turn the knob up on there. You can already hear it starting. And if I bring it even further, it's going to take longer to turn to the next note. And then back to 0, and it's back to normal. Also, there is Unison. So, Unison Mode has detune and number. So, we'll just change number. Right now it's set to 1. And then if we turn it up, don't hear too much of a change, so if we detune and bring that up, now we'll hear a change. Check this out. And now we'll notice a difference when we change this. So that was just a basic look at all this. You can do more than I'm showing. There are other modes which I'll probably get into some other time. But in general, that's just the raw sounds that you're going to be hearing. When you add effects, just like with any synth, you'll add a whole lot more atmosphere, things like that. What's cool about this is that you can, not only if you don't like the synth sounds or engine on here, you can just go externalize it.